I'm just getting a really bad attack of office envy. Oh, God, it's uncomfortable.
I'm Lucy Kellaway, and for over 20 years I've written about offices, and for longer than that I've worked in them. I wanted to take a closer look at the new generation of cool offices, where every last detail has been engineered to make the people who work in them more productive and happier too.
It's a bit IKEA. They're beard straighteners. It's very, very messy. Not complete privacy, because you can always just sort of... It looks like a sort of NHS hospital. It's quite strict.
From iPad coffee machines
Oh my God.
to free lunches,
I suppose I'll have to put up with a Ben & Jerry's.
from hot desking to modern art. Is any of this making offices better?
I want this in my office.
Or is it making them worse?
So you could have me in my pyjamas on the screen.
Walking into Unilever House today, it's hard to believe that it's the same building I visited 15 years ago. Back then, it was a higgledy-piggledy collection of corridors and offices and wood panelling, crammed into a building that was designed specially for Lever Brothers in 1929. Now, the outside is still the same splendid neoclassical Art Deco thing it always was. But the inside has been scooped out and turned into almost a caricature of what everyone seems to want from a modern office. It's all steel and light, built around an enormous central atrium. And there's so much glass that there's nowhere to hide. Ken Mankey, the VP of Workplace Services, showed me what life is like for the 1,200 people who work there.
In 1930, it was razed to the ground, and then built up by 1932 into the first of the Unilever houses.
And it's so imposing and grand. I mean, it looks like it's pretending to be a sort of government office or saying we are Unilever. I mean, I think it's very interesting how companies tried to impress then as now. Yes. Companies now try and impress by the amount of glass that they have and the height, but this is an old style way of doing it. I think it's rather nice.
The first thing you come to after reception rather appealed to me. It's a staff shop selling Unilever products, everything from Persil to pot noodles, at up to 40% off.
I think it says £1 for the Dove shampoo.
Very true.
Which is a lot cheaper than it is in Boots.
We certainly open this up for our employees, but also our visitors as well.
Oh, well, great.
So in addition,
on my way out, I'll stock up. Oh, there's a crowd of people around the pot noodles, I see, that we're dispersing. Everybody's favourite.
Very popular pot noodle. We often have people either coming in here for grabbing something very quick or leveraging our canteen, either on the ground floor or the 8th floor.
But it's perfectly okay, is it, if you don't fancy leveraging the canteen, to leverage your own desk and pour some water in and stick there.
Absolutely. So we do provide hot water on all the working floors and in different kitchenette areas for that. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Taking the lift up, you could see how transparent the whole building was.
Wow, this is great for the nosy. You can see exactly what everyone's up to. I mean, I can see right through to the window on the other side.
We got out at the 8th floor, home to the canteen and to a series of swishy meeting rooms and dining rooms for Unilever clients.
Back 15 years ago, this entire 8th floor was very much reserved for our executive leadership. But as we rebuilt this building up, it was the complete opposite. We wanted to open this up for the masses to enjoy, for all of the employees to enjoy. One of the elements that we also built in, which is very much in the theme of openness, is this very dramatic, what we call flying carpets. And we have this here on the 8th floor. But
there is no carpet.
There is no carpet, and it doesn't fly as well.
No.
But it's a dramatic part of the architectural features of having this space in the middle, above the atrium that is suspended with, as you can see, these stainless steel tension field rods.
And that's why it's a little bit dark downstairs, because you're looking up at this.
Exactly. So we can still leverage the sunlight, but we wanted to still have a way of getting teams together to collaborate in the middle of the atrium, suspended above the ground floor.
And then you've got meeting rooms through there with pretty flowers and chandeliers and stuff.
Absolutely.
What, is that a boardroom?
So now that would be our executive dining room. So when we host other visitors...
Executive dining room's a very old-fashioned idea.
Very true.
So I'm surprised that you have one at all. They're not having a cosy lunch in there on their own,
Not at all,
are they?
not at all. It's really for entertaining third-party visitors, but it's not just exclusively used by our C-suite, by our CEO.
Yeah.
Next was the canteen, which has a fabulous view of the city.
You can see fantastic view right down the Thames. Yeah, it's a really, really nice, it's a nice space.
There's also free fruit, which lots of companies offer, and also something unique to Unilever, free ice cream.
Used throughout the day.
Yeah, but which would you rather, a cornetto or a banana? I think that's a bit of a no-brainer.
Well, if I ask my wife, it has to be fruit. I need to wean myself sometimes off the ice cream.
Which is more, I mean, I do think it is quite interesting that on one hand you're doing the healthy message, and on the other hand, the ice creams that we all adore, they're not really very healthy. Which are the most popular among Unilever employees?
It's very much a balance. It's both. So certainly the fruit, actually by consumption, by numbers, is more popular than ice cream.
Not for me. I headed straight to the ice cream fridge.
Why don't we take a look to see if there's something you might like inside?
Oh my God, what I really fancy is a strawberry cornetto. But am I going to be disappointed? It's Magnums.
Today it looks like more of a Magnum Ben & Jerry's.
Oh dear. Oh well, I suppose I'll have to put up with the Ben & Jerry's. But I do think that free ice cream is a lot nicer than free fruit, because it actually cheers you up.
Unilever is a big fan of agile working. Every employee is allowed to work from home for 2 days a week. And so the dreaded video conference has become a way of life.
So you could have me in my pajamas on the screen.
We very well could. We
Yeah.
very well could, absolutely.
Heaven forbid, but yeah. And so every single day here, if you're a typical Unilever employee, would you be talking virtually like this to lots of colleagues, just as a
Absolutely.
matter of routine?
Absolutely. Connecting individually, but also building to building is very prevalent.
And do you use this more than phone now?
So often it's almost one and the same.
The 4th floor of Unilever House is typical of the building's design. It's open plan and everyone's hot desking. The only thing that's odd is that with so many products on display, it feels more like a beauty parlour than an office. And I couldn't help but wonder whether the naked torsos on the walls were quite the thing to look at all day.
So if I work in this department, I
Yes.
come in the morning and I can potentially sit anywhere.
Correct.
Yeah. But do you find they go to the same space every day? Because actually we're all creatures of habit, and I know I like my little place.
Absolutely. So you do see that with probably half the population, but it gives the other half a lot of flexibility.
So imagine if I worked here, could I just work from home the whole time and just, come in through a video conference for all the meetings and just never show up at all?
Depending on your role and depending on what role you're fulfilling within the organization, you could, and we do have a part of the population that works from home 4 or 5 days a week.
Nobody is being monitored at all, are they, in terms of how long they're working?
So it's more about the performance that the individual is driving versus the presenteeism.
And there's no point in leaving your jacket on the back of the chair, because no one would even know whose chair it was. The problem with this, and you do sometimes hear it about Unilever, is that people work too hard here. And the arrangement that you described, yes, it's very flexible, but the danger of it is that you're just you're on call the whole time. And are you trying to stop people do that, or actually is it all in your interests that they do?
Well, we don't want people to burn out and work 24/7, which is why we also try and balance in the workspace different wellness centers.
The cynic would say that, these companies that have very smart people and make them work the whole time,
Yes.
they will all say, oh, well, we've got a wellness centre too.
Yes.
But that doesn't necessarily solve the problem. I mean, yeah, you can do a bit of stress-busting stuff, but you're still working 12 hours a day,
Yes.
and it's still a problem.
With agile working, there are a lot of benefits, and that freedom is a benefit, but you're right, it certainly comes with that self-reflection of what's the right amount of work that I have or my team has. It really takes that dialogue to make sure that too much isn't happening. So we do have lockers this size for all of our employees.
Not a lot of stuff, though. I mean, if I tried to put this stuff on my desk, I'd need the whole lot, I think.
What we found is if we give somebody 4 of these all for themselves, they'll fill it up.
Yeah.
But if we give somebody 1, they'll make do.
prioritise, yeah.
They'll make do.
Yeah.
Unilever are very proud of how green they are and discourage anyone from printing anything out. They've done this through rather a clever trick.
This is the only place that you've taken me to that I think looks sort of it looks like a sort of NHS hospital, really. It's not somewhere that I'd like to linger. Is that deliberate, that you discourage people from coming here at all?
Very much. I mean, historically, we've had hundreds of printers all over the floor, and it really it takes away from the vibrancy of the working environment. So we want to create and concentrate these hubs for you to come when you need it, but again, not a core part of what you see day in and day out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's hard not to like a building slap bang on the Thames with some of the best views that London has to offer. And who wouldn't like the free magnums, which come with a state-of-the-art gym in which to work off any ill effects? Every detail in the new Unilever office has been well thought through, from the recycling to the privacy panels on the walls of the meeting rooms. And yet the truth was I couldn't quite bring myself to like it. All that glass and all that transparency and the nomadic hot desking gave the place a cold and soulless feeling. As I left, I almost started hankering after the ugly, chaotic rabbit warren left over from the 1930s. Less good-looking, less practical, less efficient, and certainly less fashionable. It had one thing that the new version, as well as so many other modern offices, lack: anything resembling character.